All right. Hello, everybody. Zachary5149. So, today I am going to be making a video where I am going to be showing you guys how to make and edit your own texture packs for Pixel Party. Something worth noting, a couple things worth noting, is there's only two versions where Pixel Party exists really anymore, where Hypixel exists at all. And that is version 1.8.9, maybe 1.8 overall, I'm not sure, but we're going to be using 1.8.9, as well as version 1.21. Those are the two versions that Hypixel has left. So that is what we are going to be working on, which coincidentally makes my job a little bit easier today. I am making this video because Owen last night had an emergency situation with his texture pack not working anymore. And making texture packs overall can be kind of niche. There's a couple of things that I can't really. You basically have to be told that it exists in order for you to actually know how to deal with it. These texture packs are going to have basically the bare essentials. It's not going to have anything other than what is in the texture pack. So you can either have all the extra stuff in there, but the file size will be larger, and it might be harder to edit stuff in the future if you don't delete this stuff. It's your prerogative. You can do whatever you want. I'm just going to show you how to get it and how to edit it and how to use it. There's going to be a couple of niche things throughout the video that I'm going to explain as well. We're going to start with 1.8.9. That will be first. Alright, so here we are on CurseForge with the default 1.8.9 download. You're just gonna download it on your own. Nothing really to worry about. You just gotta wait for it. You don't need to own a CurseForge account. You can download it for free. And now we are in our downloads folder. Here it is. What you're gonna want to do first is you are going to want to extract all of the contents. This may take a moment. Basically, you can't really change anything if it's in a locked zip folder, so you have to extract everything so you can actually edit everything. And then once you're done with all your changes, you can compress it back down to a zip folder and move it to that folder you need to get it to. So speaking of which, let's show where Minecraft resource packs are located. So I'm in the search menu down here, the Windows. You can type %appdata%. Why that, I have no idea. It'll take you to a bunch of games that you have taken care of. You go to Minecraft, you go to resource packs. Where are we? It's the R for resource packs. As you can see, I already have my own resource pack for 1.8.9. Give me 1 second. Okay, so on the left we have our unedited resource pack for Minecraft 1.8.9, and on the right we have my resource pack that I use for 1.8.9. I don't really use this anymore, but for those of you who want to use 1.8.9 instead of 1.21, this is going to be the video for you. Alright, so here we go. This is all going to look very similar. None of this really matters except for assets. Something else I need to mention real quick. You need to keep everything where it belongs. So, for example, if I move in and I take gray stained glass panes, if I take that and move it over to models, for example, it's not going to work anymore. And it's not going to work because Minecraft pulls from what is called a directory. Minecraft goes into the files and uses the exact location it expects to find those files and uses it to generate the world around you. So if you move stuff around in a folder that it doesn't belong to, it is not going to work. So it is very important that you keep everything where it belongs. But yeah, once again, left is what is the new one, so we're going to move in a bit deeper. We're going to go to assets, everything looks familiar. Minecraft, everything looks familiar. Now on the left, you're going to see a bunch of stuff, a bunch of extra stuff. Now what I'm going to do is I am going to delete these three and leave textures. Now the reason for that is because nothing from those three folders are what are required for Pixel Party. So I just delete those, leave it as is. We move it a little bit deeper in. We have blocks, GUI, and particle. Those are the three things that we genuinely need to keep track of. So I am going to go ahead and delete all of these files. They are all gone. And now we are back to the bare essentials. Now we're going to start off with... Actually, you know what? Let's start off with particles. Particles is pretty easy. Just delete the footprint. Footprint means nothing. Okay, this is optional. I turned off all of the particles in the game. And if you go here and open it up, these are all the particles the game has for 1.8. I deleted all of the particles so that they are not a distraction. The simplest way that I do that is I go to a place called Pixlr, right? Pixlr. And now what I do, you can go into editing, and any editing software that you want to, I'm just going to drag it over. And what I did is I just erased everything. I erased everything. I saved it as the exact folder you want it as, particles. I have one of my 3 daily saves. And then I can go back to my downloads. I can copy, and I can go, no, that's not the right one. Where are we? Where are we? What the heck? Where are we? Heh. Alright, so we are back with our resource pack that we haven't made any actual changes to. We should just be able to paste and then replace the files in the destination. And now the particles folder is completely empty. So what that did is that just removed all the particles in the game, so I don't have to look at them anymore. So yeah, that process is quite literally, and I should also mention, this is only for removing particles. If you're trying to do, like, just change the way that they look, I would recommend just do it using something else, like you can use, I use paint. I just use paint, and then I can go in and change the way that it looks. But if you're trying to remove stuff, I might recommend... I mean, you can probably do it on paint still. I use Pixlr for that, but I only can use it, 3 times in a row without saving. Moving on, though. Okay, so particle is done, and now we need to move on. I'm going to go to GUI next. GUI is another thing that is optional. Alright, so here we are in a 1.8.9 world. I am not in F1, and you'll notice that even though I'm not in F1, even if I go to game mode survival, your game mode has been updated. Where is my health bar? Where is my hunger bar? Where is my hot bar? And where is my experience bar? That is because I removed them. Because it's a bit of a distraction just looking at the bottom of your screen and seeing that stuff. Is it wrong to say that I actually preferred the old way that wheat looked? Am I wrong to say that? Bunny! Wait a minute, I'm so confused. This is 1.8.9. Did bunnies even exist in 1.8.9? No! Who are you? What are you? I am so unbelievably confused right now, but getting back on track, if we go to GUI... Oh my god, okay, so there's a couple of unnecessary things in here. We don't need these. We need icons and widgets. That is it. There is nothing else in this folder that we need to worry about. They are now the exact same. This is what the icons normally looks like. So this is what an unedited version of icons looks like, and this is what mine looks like. Once again, I went into Pixlr and removed a bunch of this stuff. So, health, hunger, experience bar, what else did I get rid of? I don't know. I didn't really get rid of anything else beyond that. I removed it all, and then I saved it back into the texture pack that I wanted to use. So, yeah, I got rid of that stuff so that I could actually, not get distracted by it. And then we have widgets after that. So this is what widgets normally looks like. You can see the hotbar and the selected, and this is what it looks like after. There is no hotbar. There is no selected slot. This is so that I don't have to look at that stuff. I don't know. I think it helps. But now we move on to the actual meat of this argument, of this video. Blocks. Now, I'm going to start off with my blocks to the right. These are my blocks. This is realistically everything that you'll actually have to worry about in this game. You have anvils for hyper mode, glass, which is just a beacon. The beacon it uses a glass texture. So if I click on this, this is what my beacon looks like for 1.8.9. This is also it's actually I just used a black beacon in 2024 Hyper Champs and somehow won it. Yeah, I know it's a bit weird. It's a bit weird, but you know, it won. Another thing I should mention. You cannot the texture packs for 1.8 and 1.21 are not cross compatible because in 1.21 clay is not called clay. It is called terracotta. And I think it's also located in a different directory. So if you try and use a 1.8 texture pack in 1.21 or vice versa, it will not work. Because those two different versions use two different directories and names for things. But moving on, this is just what everything looks like, you know. I don't actually. There's no stained brown, in this game, which is why I use it for snow. Snow is brown, which is kind of weird. But unfortunately, Hypixel didn't leave me a choice. Hypixel used every single color in the game except for brown, which, I mean, I don't know. Some jokes just write themselves. For better or for worse, though, that is how it is. Also, you may be wondering, well, Zach, in Hyper Mode, snow is a pile. It's not a solid block. But what you won't know, unless someone tells you, is that I believe the way that the texture is generated is it draws from the snow source block texture. The snow pile is not its own texture. It draws from the source snow block to make a pile. So you'll notice I don't have a snow pile. That's because either I couldn't find it or that it's not necessary because the snow pile doesn't exist, but a snow block does, and it pulls from the snow block, blah, blah, blah. So yeah, from here, this is everything that you need. As you can see, it's a bit longer over here. You know, there's a lot of extra stuff that belongs over here. I delete most of it. It's your prerogative if you want to destroy any of this stuff, or delete any of this stuff. It's gonna be a bit harder to edit in the future, so I would just recommend deleting it. But it is your call. You can do whatever you want. And in order to change the color on stuff, you just oh yeah, that's a you get you, just, you this is my unedited, my extracted version. You just gotta open. I use paint, and then you can just scroll in and be like, I don't like that. Let's just make it all let's just make it all black. Just make it all black, and then we save. Bam. If I place it's just I picked up the wrong one. It's just black now. It's just black now. It's just black now. It's just black now. But yeah, once you're done making all your changes, you need to go back. You need to go to assets, not assets. You need to go to where the resource pack is, take all of this, highlight them all, right click, compress to zip file. There we go. And then we have pack. We can rename it if we want. We'll rename it to test. How about that? We'll rename it to test. You can copy it and then just go to your resource pack folder. Where are we? Resource packs. Paste it into tests. Give me a second. Alright, we are back. Version 1.8.9. We are going to go to options, resource packs. 1.8.9. This is actually a really good example that I'm going to show real quick. Alright, so, as you guys can remember, I changed the way that jungle planks look. Wait a minute, what? Oh, right, yeah. Okay, this is a poor example of it, but as you can see, it is still black. Now, what I was expecting was for this version, the one that I currently use, to dominate the files in this version. Now, the way that this works is that the file on the top is the one that gets the priority. So, let's say that the folder up top has jungle wood in it, and it's a different texture, and this one also has jungle wood, but it looks at a different texture. It is going to use the color, the file, from this version up top because the top resource pack is the one that has the priority. So if the resource pack you want is down here, aka not at the top, it is not going to get the priority, and it is going to look like whatever is here. But because there is no jungle wood texture pack here, it is going to pull from this one instead. So which resource pack is on top of the other has a lot of significance, and is why Owen's texture pack yesterday was not working, because he had the one he wanted here and a different one here. Okay, so that was the easier one. That was the version that is not complete ass to work with. So let's move on to the less fun one, version 1.21. I'll try and put a link to where I find these texture packs in the description. But yeah, give me 1 second. Alright, so here we are again. 1.21. My default texture pack is on the left, and the one that I use is on the right. Once again, this all should look relatively similar. You can go to Assets, Minecraft. Looks like we can delete everything except for textures. Again, makes complete sense. Nothing has changed. Now we are moving on. Again, this is pretty easy. This is a lot easier than I was expected. I'm a little worried. I'm on alert. Something doesn't feel right. Something indeed does not feel right. But who knows? Maybe everything will work out just fine. Okay. We just went to GUI, and it's literally just sprites. Literally nothing else matters. Why is this so much easier than I expected? What are we doing? What are we doing? Maybe it's because I'm assuming if I go to widgets. What? They changed that? Okay. Okay, you got it, man. You got it. I delete. We move on. All right. Okay, so again, this is how I handle the HUD in version 1.21. This is the optional part of the video. I want to scroll down, not left to right. Hello? Oh, I can't scroll left to right because there's literally just not enough there. All right, cool. This is everything that I have changed. There is obviously a bit more on over here, but that's mostly because not everything is necessary. This is every texture that you are going to have to change to empty if you want to have an empty screen HUD. Now, this is probably why I don't like version 1.21 texture packs as much, because in version 1.8, there is a singular PNG dedicated to every single separate file in this folder. Every single file, there is what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 pictures that you have to individually change. Or, on 1.8, one picture that you just have to delete and you're done. So, the amount of effort to make the screen, the HUD gone, is exponentially more difficult on 1.21. It is your call if you want to do this. I went ahead and did it, and there's also hearts as well. So sorry, not just 13, 16 colors, 16 folders, files that you have to delete and change. Well, not delete, but you have to change them so that they're empty. 16 files, technically 17 if you count the heart folder. So yeah, that is that is not fun. That is very much not fun, but you know, I did it. So whatever. Moving on to blocks though. This should be from here. I think it's very similar. It's very simple. You have snow, that hasn't changed. Instead of hardened clay, you have terracotta. Glass is still the same. I think anvil is different. Maybe I don't really know, but I would assume that it's not. This again. This is the one point. This is the name of my texture pack, by the way. It's very funny. I know. Ha 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 ha. But yeah, you got anvils again, terracotta again, snow, glass, all the stuff that you would expect. And as you would probably suggest, or as probably you can guess, it's the exact same process. You have to go back to where it says assets. You have to compress to zip, have to compress to zip, name it whatever you want, and then you copy, go to resource packs. This is not how you go to resource packs. There it is. Paste it in there. Again, that is for 1.21.4 or any version of 1.21. That is something that I should also mention. Any resource pack, if it's in 1.21, it works on whatever version. Unless you're like getting new content drops, like I know the Poplar Forest is coming up. That obviously won't work in 1.21. But all of the stuff that we're working on is not version dependent. Like it worked in 1.8. The only thing that changed is the directory and where everything goes exactly. And as I mentioned before, you can open any file. I use Paint, and then you can change it to whatever you want, blah, blah, blah. You get the idea. And then you can save, move on. Now, if you want to mess with any of, like, let's say I'm not satisfied with my 1.8.9 or my 1.21 texture pack, you have to extract all of the files again, go into assets, find what you want to change, excuse me, and then open it up and then change it to that. Um, and yeah, that's really all I can think of. Let me think if I can think of any other important things about texture packs. I guess that's a no. So yeah, that is how you make a texture pack for Minecraft 1.8.9 and 1.21.2, or what, any version of 1.21. Unfortunately, I do not have the texture packs that I can just put in a download area. That's a little bit too much effort for me. For anyone who is part of the tournament server, you can just message me. I can give you my texture pack, and then you can edit it however you want. I will leave downloads to where I got the defaults in the description. Um, and yeah, that is it. How long was that video? That was 22 minutes. Could have been better. Could have been worse. That is all I got for you. Thank you guys, and have a good day.